Hi, welcome to another episode of Dare to Live, Seated Together with Terry Dawson. Last week was so much fun for me. I really enjoyed all the engagement and interaction, the phone calls I received, the text messages that I got from people who have my number. But it was cool to see people say, this is really helpful. I didn't think about that before. I had one young lady say, I'm over here deconstructing all the lies so that I can start looking at what is now true. That's fun for me. This week, I'd like to move us forward a little bit, though. We looked at where we've been, and we remember the story, right, of Hagar when she was being disrespectful and insolent and arrogant even because she was pregnant with Abraham's child and Sarah, his wife, had not been able to conceive. And so when Hagar became disrespectful, Sarah became mean to the point that Hagar was like, I can't take this anymore. I'm done. And so then Hagar takes off. She leaves. And she runs into a man while she's out in the desert. And he asks her the question, where are you coming from? And where are you going? So we've looked at where we've come from. I hope that's been helpful. And we started to talk about where we're going. We realized we can't even get to where we're going until we identify where we are. So we looked at where we're coming from, and then we saw where we are right now, currently in our current reality. Now that we've embraced the where that we are, now we can start preparing to move forward in the future, into what's ahead. I started thinking about how do we make this turn? How do we turn this corner? Because it'd be easy to stay where we've been, but let's turn the corner. The last episode, I want to say 3, Buy the Truth and Do Not Sell It. We talked about erasing the lies, not just identifying the lies, but erasing the lies and replacing those lies with truth, and then embracing the truth and holding on to it for dear life. Here we are. We've bought the truth, and now we're not going to live out of the lie anymore. So the next place is, now that we've bought the truth, we need to know the truth. Have you ever studied for a test? I don't know, especially the true-false test. A lot of people don't even study for those. It's going to be a true-false test. And you say, it's a 50-50 chance. I can either get it right or get it wrong. It's either going to be true or false. So I read the question and I come up with an answer that's closer to truth than more obvious to be false. We don't want to live like that. We want to know the truth. And then we want to know the truth. And there's a scripture that says, you shall know the truth and the truth will make you free. So now we have to take the time to not just erase the lie and not just embrace the truth, but we have to become so intimately acquainted with the truth. How does this truth play out in my life? How does this truth show up? Let me get to know myself in this reality, because I've known myself living out of the lie all these years. That's the problem. We've lived out of the lie so long that the lie has become our norm. The lie has become more real to us than the truth ever will be. And that's why most people get stuck in the lie, because it's hard to believe it yourself that there's something other than what you've believed in the past. So what do? How do you know the truth? You look at the truth and then you apply it to the reality of your life and get to know yourself that way. Example. Let's go back to our example of my parents playing the love card as the currency to control me. Let's go back to that. So once I realized that this love card was being played to control me, I started having to look at what did I start to believe about myself that made that card playable all the time. If you do what I want you to do, I'll show you love. If you don't do what I want you to do, I'll pull the love card. I won't talk to you. I won't speak to you. I'll act like you're invisible and not even present. And so to avoid that, I then had to do and to be and to all the time. Then one day I realized, sweetheart, that's not even love. First of all, let's just talk about that. It's love the way they knew how to do it or how to give it, but it wasn't love. It wasn't communicating love to me. So the lie was, you're not worth loving. The truth is, you are lovable. So once I realized not only am I loving, but I'm lovable, I had to start getting to know who I was as a lovable person. I had to start getting to know myself in that reality. So being lovable means that you have something to offer. You have something to give. There's something about you that is caring, that is kind, that is nurturing, that all the things that make you lovable. I had to get to know myself in that way, because before I was just like, I did not know that I was worth loving. Therefore, I did whatever I needed to do to feel love from whoever I was in relationship with, which produced a very successful people pleaser. I was good at it. And to the degree that I lost myself altogether, I couldn't even tell you what I liked, what I enjoyed. I don't know if you've seen the movie Coming to America, when Eddie Murphy's character was like talking to the girl that they were trying to get him to marry, and he said, well, what do you like? And she said, whatever you like. What do you enjoy? Whatever you enjoy. I didn't know my favorite color. I didn't know anything about myself, because I was so accustomed to becoming a chameleon to fit in whatever environment I was in so that I'd be accepted in that environment. So know the truth. I had to get to know me. Honey, what are your favorite colors? What do I like? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite anything? What is true about you that is uniquely you, that makes you who you are, that people may not even recognize or know yet? Know the truth. Become intimately acquainted with the truth. And don't give anybody permission to rewrite the truth again. I was talking to some friends of mine, and I said, I've been on this course and journey where Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Sometimes I feel like Humpty Dumpty got pushed off the wall, and Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And now Humpty Dumpty is in the process of being put back together to her original design and to become exactly who she was created to be all along. Know the truth, and the truth will then make you free. A lot of people want to kind of re-quote that. They quote that passage, and they say, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. Well, if you imagine being set free from something, then you are trapped in it, you are bound to it, and somebody comes and unties you, or somebody opens up the trap and now you're free. Know the truth, and the truth will make you free. When you make something, there's a process involved. When you make something, you've got to put the pieces together, and you've got to walk through the process to get the end result, the goal. Think about making a cake. You got to have the flour, you got to have the eggs, you got to have the sugar, you need to have the vanilla, you got to have the butter. Can't forget any of those ingredients, or the cake will not be what you anticipated it to be. And you know, the other thing that I found is you also need to know the order that those things need to go in order to have great success. I remember baking a cake and I added the eggs last. And my father is the one who showed me how to bake the cake. And when he did it, he always did it the other way. He put the flour in last. Well, I thought I was being smart. So I put the egg I alternate the egg, put the egg in last, and it came out gummy every time. You know why? Because you can't put the egg in last. You gotta put the flour. So when I realized not just the ingredients, but the process and how those ingredients go together to make that cake perfect. A seamstress making a dress. This piece is connected to this piece, and when we sew it together, we'll have a sleeve. But if I take this piece and sew it to the pant leg, we have a mess. So not only do you have to have the pieces together, but you got to put the pieces in the right place to get the end result. So know the truth, become intimately acquainted now that we're deconstructing these lies and we're embracing what is true. Now get to know yourself in light of the truth that you have discovered. Let's find out who we really are, and let's become so acquainted with that nobody could tell us anything differently. Because what I guarantee you is the moment you decide, I think this is more who I really am, then you better believe that yesterday's person is going to keep knocking for the right to live again. Know the truth, and the truth will make you free.